was just good to score runs. You know, the wind's blowing in pretty hard today, and we just talked to the team about trying to be patient and make them throw strikes. And the first inning we did, and it's like we were only going to score maybe a couple. We kind of got a infield kind of a cheap hit or whatever they end up fielder's choice, a run, and then, Plunkett with, I think, 2 strikes, hit one in the seats through the wind, kind of gave us a 6-run lead or 5-run lead at the time, and just kind of let us relax a little bit. The midweek games are games you got to play, but a lot of times it's hard to focus on them when it's this time of the year. And conference is going pretty good. We know we got to get out of town again on Thursday, so just proud of.
Welcome in. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, and let's get it. Today, Demetrius, let's get it. We have at 1:15 former Arkansas Razorback Cody Walker. He's going to be coming on, and we'll just be talking about a multitude of things with Cody. What's going on in Cody Walker's life, Arkansas's program, just a multitude of things. We want to get a update of what he's been up to. And then at 1:30, Arkansas had that visitor, the one that Demetrius, my co-host, calls Thump Thump. Well, he came in, and we'll find out just how the visit went. I think you guys might be interested in what Juju has to say post Arkansas's official visit. A lot of things that he has to think about, and we'll find out just where Arkansas sits here at the 1:30 hour. But I want to bring in my co-host, producer, demigod, but everybody knows what's the deal here on our show. He's the home guy. What's up, my man? Let's get it.
Not much. Glad to be back.
A lot of things happened this week. I want to make a note. Congratulations to Coach Dave Van Horn, one of 9 active coaches to reach 1,000 wins in their head coaching collegiate career. Big milestone. Arkansas also was able to go to Lexington and win the series 2-3. Yet another series as they move on to 17-7 in the league, 37-12 in the regular season. For overall tops in the West, overall second place in the SEC, and with a big home finale series coming up with the LSU Tigers as they'll be making their way to Baum Walker Stadium this weekend to take on yet the number 4 ranked Arkansas Razorback men's baseball team. Also, too, Arkansas's women's softball won their home finale over the Auburn Tigers, 2-1. As they prepare this Wednesday, they'll be taking on at 5:30 the Georgia Bulldogs in the women's SEC tournament. That'll be taking place here in just a little bit over 48 more hours. We'll get this thing underway, but I'm interested, Demetrius. I want to give great kudos to Demetrius as he was able to set up this interview with Cody Walker. But Demetrius, let the listeners know, what are some of the topics that you and I will be discussing with Mr. Walker?
Yeah, some people may not know, but Cody works with Made Hoops. So he was at that tournament that was in Arkansas that they held with Lil Bronny here, about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So we'll be talking about that, just kind of what he thinks about Arkansas sports on the basketball scene. And then, just hop in a little Razorback talk, what he thinks about the new coach, how he feels about the program right now, and what are his expectations for the year.
Cody Walker could have been a guy without, barring injuries, had he stayed healthy, I thought had a chance to really make a name for himself here at the University of Arkansas. But what do you think Cody would do, Demetrius, in a Chad Morris type of offense, in your opinion?
I definitely think he would be a fit. But one thing that stuck out with me was Cody was one of those people that he led by example.
Right.
He really didn't do a whole lot of talking, but he was a guy that was always in class, always on time, didn't take advantage of being a football player, because we do know certain benefits come with being a player, but he would stay humble and to fight through as many injuries as he did. That showed me something, and it showed me he was more than just football, because a lot of athletes would have given up. I want to say he had 2 knee surgeries on both legs, so or two together, but on each leg. So like I said, kudos to him. I'm glad to see he's really doing good out there in Missouri.
And I want to speak on off the record to the youth of Northwest Arkansas and Mr. Spencer Brown, director of the Arkansas Hawks program and director of King of the Hill. I thought they threw a great event this past weekend, as I was able, a lot when I'm not covering the Razorback program, the SEC, I like to get off to the side and do a little of my side work, refereeing. So I had a chance, and Demetrius, you also too had a chance to do some photography, as we got our hands on a lot of different things here on OTH. But Demetrius, you had a chance to see some of this young talent. You and I talked about it. We've had multiple high school coaches during our show, talk about it. Talk about the youth and just the talent level. And will this stop with universities continuously coming to this state to recruit young men and women, as you were able to witness this weekend at AAO and multiple places throughout Northwest Arkansas?
Yeah, like the sports scene in Arkansas, especially on the basketball side, is really intriguing to me. I think the more media exposure that Arkansas gets, the more young kids you're going to see come out of this state, because there's a lot of untapped, dominant, and rough talent that nobody knows about in these small little Arkansas towns. So, like I said, I'm excited for guys like me and you that's really just trying to step out here and build a brand and really get exposure to the state and to the youth. I really see it going up. I really see Arkansas will definitely be trending as far as the type of talent you get out of Arkansas and other states around.
As you say, natural diamonds in the natural state, just a natural thing. I mean, the talent level, I think, right now I think girls high school basketball may have a slight edge as far as D1 offers when you think about Power 5 offers that are going out. But the young men in this state are starting to catch up fast, and I've always felt like you go back to those Malik Monk, Kayvon Allen, Peyton Willis. Those guys set the standard as they were able to go out of the state, have some success. In return, that lets a lot of the college programs know that, hey, there's a lot of talent in the university in the state of Arkansas that maybe we need to go go recruiting. I think, Kristen Williams comes to mind. Abigail Jackson, the young lady at Auburn. Those type of players, when you do what they've done and have the success that these ladies and these young men are having, as I've said all along, it's only going to enhance. I think talent level is only going to get better, as I've noticed being on the court with these athletes at a young age. These kids are doing things that you should be doing years on down the road. So that always gives me a great benefit. But we're going to step away, and it's time to get it. Demetrius, you ready? Let's get it. Cody Walker, he's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. See you in a second. Welcome back. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you live each and every day here from 1 to 2 p.m. on KDSJ 479. And, we like to always talk about our former players. I know the state of Arkansas likes to keep up with those Hogs. So we made a Hog call, and guess who we caught up with? Former Arkansas Razorback, Cody Walker. KW, welcome to the Hill, my man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Let's get off into it, Cody. What you had the privilege, and one of our main topics we want to talk to you about, Cody, is you were a part of that Made Hoops big event that was just held here in the Northwest Arkansas area, I believe just a little over 2 weeks ago. Talk about that event, and what are you starting to see as far as the talent level, in particular, the state of Arkansas, as this is the fifth year you guys have had that event.
Yes, this is the fifth year, and I've been with the May Hoops, the warm up tournament in Arkansas for all 5 years. And Chad Babel is head over the May Hoops, and he's brought this tournament to Northwest Arkansas, and this unbelievable opportunity for these young men coming from all across the country, but to have it in that area, Northwest Arkansas, an amazing opportunity for that community. But just being able to bring in top talent, like I said, from across the country, to be able to compete with those top talent in the state of Arkansas is an amazing opportunity for these young men today. And it's just overall a great event.
Talk about what you've been up to, Cody. I know when you're not doing the Made Hoops events, which that keeps you quite busy. What does Cody? What are you up to in more of your career-based events?
Yeah, well, I've actually found myself into coaching, which is crazy that I'm saying that, because if you would have asked me if I would have gotten to coaching 5-6 years ago, I probably would have said no. But I found my way into coaching, and I'm coaching at Rockbridge High School in Columbia, Missouri, running backs coach, and enjoying it every step of it. Seeing the other side of things is kind of crazy, from playing to coaching, totally different. But like I said, I'm enjoying every step of it.
When you talk about the state of Missouri, you get a chance to go back as you played. Had a very illustrious career at Jefferson City, I should say. Talk being a running backs coach, and having been one of the few Arkansas or Missouri recruited players to play here at the University of Arkansas. Now that Chad Morris has come in, and you start to see more of that emphasis placed on the state of Missouri. How does from a former player's perspective, talk about how underrated you feel the state of Missouri is, from a recruiting standpoint when it comes to really good high school football.
Oh man, I think it's really underrated. We have a lot of talent up here in Missouri. For whatever reason, it gets overlooked. You think about the two major cities that we have, Kansas City and St. Louis, produce a lot of talent. There's a lot of top programs. When you think about not only Rockbridge, the team that I'm coaching, but CBC out of St. Louis, Rockhurst out of Kansas City, DeSmet. A lot of talent, and I would love to see those recruits from Missouri get down to Arkansas. Hopefully Chad Morris could do that. But you look at this recent draft, and we had two guys from CBC are about to start an NFL career, in Armand Watts and Brian Wallace that played with the Razorbacks. So I would like to see a lot more Missouri guys get down to Arkansas.
When you talk about Chad Morris, how has that relationship gone with Chad and his staff reaching out to former players? It seemed over the years through Brett Bielema, I didn't see a lot of the former players coming back, or I should say being welcomed back. Talk about that and just what that means for a program like Arkansas in the SEC, that so many players, that are being recruited can come back and see, all the, the past players that are really involved with the program. How big is that in your opinion, Cody?
I think that's huge, especially when you talk about Arkansas, program that's built on tradition. I thought it was always huge when I first came in as a young Razorback to know my history and the guys that came before me. And I think it's awesome that Chad Morris has reached out to guys to welcome them in, to come to practices, to be around and see the future on the Razorbacks now. So I think that's huge to bridge those gaps.
Now, you're in the backyard right there of the Missouri Tigers there in Columbia. Talk about some of the players that you've had the privilege of coaching. I know off the record before we came on there, you said you had a running back that's moved on to Stanford, but talk about just the talent that you get to coach at your school, and who are some of the players that maybe could possibly be on the Razorback radar here in the coming years?
Oh yeah, like I said, we have a lot of talent at the school I'm at right now, Rockbridge High School in Columbia, Missouri. And my running back that just recently graduated is headed off to Stanford. Really great kid, full package. But we do have a lot of guys that are coming back and that can play at that next level. So I'm looking forward to that. We have a linebacker, defensive end that are picking up those interest right now in offers. So it's good to see that, and just looking back on my time coming through that process, it helps these guys now. I'm able to communicate with them and help them along in their process. So it's fun to see. But I'm looking forward to seeing great things from my guy Nate Pete out in Stanford.
Talking with former Arkansas running back Cody Walker, now running backs coach at Columbia, Missouri, Rockbridge High School. For those that have just tuned in, but I want to talk to you even more in depth about football in general. When Chad Morris took over, Cody, he talked about recruiting multi-sport athletes. Talk about that. How big is that to be able to have a kid that's either a two-sport, baseball, football, maybe track, football, or whatever sport? When he's a two-sport athlete, what does that do for that young individual? And in particular, from a coach being your standpoint, if you get a kid that is a two-sport athlete at the running back spot.
Oh man, I think it's huge. I think sports translate into other sports. So I always tell my guys, do as much as you can. Y'all want to go play track, go do basketball, go do it. It's not gonna hurt you. So you're just gonna get better, and you're gonna compete at all those things. My running back Nate Pete actually was a 100-meter champ last year, state track here in the state of Missouri. So I love that stuff. I love when guys are two-sport athletes, three-sport athletes. I myself actually played basketball in high school too.
Right.
So everything translates, and if you're competing, you're getting better.
Cody, tell me what was the uniqueness, in your opinion, about being an Arkansas Razorback, the time that you spent here in Fayetteville. What is the uniqueness of being, just having that Arkansas across your chest? Oh, man,
it's different. Like I mentioned before, that tradition, it's huge in the state of Arkansas. Not having a pro team, everybody gravitating towards those Razorbacks, and they show love, man. I mean, I was there for 6 years, went through ups and downs, and man, those fans, they stuck with you. You know what I'm saying? And I genuinely appreciate that throughout my times, because like I said, I had a long career, it was difficult roads, but we had some great fans that were always there, and it seemed like the stadium was always filled, no matter what we were producing out there on the field.
Well, Cody, man, love having you on, and we're going to have to catch up, as I may have you give us a little Arkansas updates during the football season. You might be my go-to guy every week. If we can make that possible. All right.
Definitely.
Well,
I appreciate you.
Hey, and you keep being an influence to your home state, and in particular, the young men at Rockbridge High Schoolers. I mean, I watched you play in high school, Cody, so I know what type of coaching those young men are getting. But as always, my man, thanks for taking time out on the hill.
I appreciate it. Much love. God bless.
That was Cody Walker, former Arkansas running back, now running back coach. And I understand those kids are getting some top quality coaching, man, because I watched Cody as his high school team played the Fayetteville Bulldogs. I believe it was his junior and senior year. And saw a young man that knew how to run the football, but also played the right way and did some special things. But we're going to step away and get us a real quick break. We're going to continue on as my buddy feels like we're doing real good. So going to Demetrius, we talked with Cody. He talked about the importance of the Missouri border, and you've heard about, you hear Coach Mo talk about the footprint with Missouri being one of those places. I mean, talk about that. He had a guy going to Stanford, and being from Columbia, I know it's the backyard there at Missouri, but still, yet you have to feel good about Arkansas being able to go in and attract some of the Show Me State's finest.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great for Arkansas. I think not only great for Arkansas, but you mentioned it again, that battle line rivalry. I think that's really how you start to build those traditional rivalries, going in there and getting guys that have D1 talent that should be going to that University of State.
Right.
But they choose the Razorbacks. And I think the more Chad Morris kind of gets into that scene, I don't think Missouri right now is a priority. But I think as time goes on and he makes the relationships that he already has established, I think Missouri is definitely a backyard that he's going to start creeping in once he gets his funnel schools kind of situated.
Does it help Arkansas even more in the St. Louis area? Armand Watts, having only played as little as he did to play one season, be able to move on. What did I say about this coaching staff when they go in to recruit the state of Missouri? I mean, Armand has to be a big selling point for these guys out on the road.
Definitely, if I'm Coach Morris, I'm using Armand as a golden story. If you stick with the process and you fight through the adversity that sometimes come with college football, this can be the reward. So, like I said, if I'm Chad Morris, he's my selling point. He's my glimmer of hope, if you would say, for guys that know they have the talent but don't always get the opportunity when they think it's time. Because with the age we live in, it's so many kids trying to transfer.
Everybody wants to transfer, it seems, but Arkansas had a really, really big time weekend, and we're gonna catch up with one of those really big stars. We talked to him earlier in the week, and he said he'd come back and give us an update. Next up, the top prospect in the junior college ranks at the linebacker position visited the University of Arkansas. He's up next, Juwan Mitchell of Butler Junior College. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a bit.
got shall get, them that's not shall lose. For the Bible says,
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to each and every day here on KDSJ 479. And momentarily we'll be having on, as we're making attempts to bring on 2020 top prospect, and the guy that my producer calls Thump Thump. He's going to be coming on here momentarily to update us on just how his trip to Fayetteville went, what's in store. I know we asked him last week during the interview if Minnesota, if he was 100% to Minnesota. We'll get an update, but we'll try and momentarily get him on as he has some things that he's trying to maneuver around to join us here today. But back to my guy. You've seen highlights, as we previously during the break showed highlights of Jahari Rogers, another young man that made an official visit to the University of Arkansas. Big-time athlete. Arkansas is recruiting this young man as a defensive back just recently. Less than 24 hours ago, got an offer from the University of Georgia. When you watched his video, Demetrius, what came to mind? The athletic ability that Chad and his staff are starting to really go out for, but real in particular to me is the speed that they're really heavily, coveting. Talk about that, and just how far is this program away from really being able to match SEC program speed for speed, in particular the positions of that you have to have wide receiver and in the defensive backfield and at the linebacker position.
Yeah, you could just tell they're going for an athletic build. Anytime you talk about a kid playing two sports, you're talking about somebody that's multi-dimensional or just doesn't have your basic athleticism package.
Right.
He's the ability to do a little bit more. And I think you're really just seeing that up from a recruiting end with like the size, the ability to bend, the athleticism, the speed, just the change of direction. You definitely see it. The body type in general. It just is a totally different brand from the Brett Bielema era. And what I've seen even in the Petrino, the little bit of Petrino I did see.
The state of Texas still continues. I mean, Jahari came in from Texas. Savion Williams was a big-time receiver prospect that took his official visit to the University of Arkansas. Garrett Hayes is still yet another Texas prospect that made his way for his official visit. So when you continuously talk about it, it just continues to come up to me. Just East Texas, Dallas, Texas, the Houston area. Chad Morris and this staff have really hit the ground running, and they've made a point to the A&Ms and the Texases and the TCUs and Baylors that they're going to be in Texas each and every year, and they're going to make attempts to get some of the elite to come play at this SEC program, which has to bode well because Texas, I've always thought, is one of the more important footprints that Arkansas has to have if they're going to have a chance to ascend to SEC West leadership and get in the SEC championship talk. I mean, in my opinion, I don't know where you're at, but Texas has to be, if not the top. I know you want to keep Arkansas, but right behind Arkansas, it has to be the state of Texas.
Definitely. I think it really goes beyond that. I think Texas is a great place to start. Like I said, I think Chad is really going to focus on just building the relationships that he already has currently instead of trying to go build new ones with new high schools. I think he's going to build a solid foundation and have maybe 3 to 5 funnel schools that he knows he can get D1 talent from year in and year out in the state of Texas. And I think then, he's going to make his ways to the Missouris. He's going to kind of make his ways to the, Memphis area, which he's gradually starting to go through. Absolutely. And you're going to start seeing more and more. The Louisiana area, you're going to start seeing more and more. So, because I think Scooter, after this year, hopefully Scooter gets drafted. That's going to
hopefully,
yeah.
Scooter will be drafted. Scooter Harris will be drafted. Now, but I think Scooter Harris has done enough in the SEC.
I didn't mean that in any disrespect. I know Scooter, your boy.
Call his name.
I just didn't want to speak too early because it's a political thing when it comes to that NFL draft.
Yeah, the NFL draft's on needs, not sometimes what people want you to do.
Yeah, it's really a political thing when it comes to that draft,
right?
And also a marketing standpoint. When you look at the type of athletes that they do stories from, and not to say that Scooter doesn't have a story, but they look for those athletes that already kind of have that selling pitch to them,
right.
And like I said, it could just get real political in the NFL draft. But I think even with that, next year Chad will have even more to sell to different kids with that around the state. Like we were just talking about Armand being able to sell him to the Missouri area,
Right.
being able to sell Scooter to the Louisiana area, and so on and so forth. I think gradually Chad Morris is really going to be able to build that and have a solid foundation recruiting in the South.
Well, we'll get this. Let's take one quick last break, and then we're going to make our last attempt to get on Juju Mitchell of Butler County Junior College, and then we'll close this thing out. It's on the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a bit.
Jimmy Ramsey, off speed, he was ready for it. Ryan Johnson scooping it up, and he's not going to have a play at the plate. It's a 2-0 Arkansas lead. The RBI single by Dominic Fletcher, Doug, and again up in the strike zone. Streak. Ball gets away from Kessler. That'll be an easy run, and Razorbacks lead it now 3-0. They score so many runs they can obliterate mistakes, and Henley's hit by a pitch. Big pitch for Ramsey. Off the tip. Elliott Curtis makes the play at second base, but another run in. I don't know even if Ramsey makes that clean first most every time. Opitz goes the other way, drops it down in front of Shin, who stumbles. And running on contact, he's going to make it anyways. Jacob Nesbitt. So a good piece of hitting for Opitz. And he finally works out of the inning. Jimmy Ramsey striking out Kristen Franklin, but the Razorbacks do some major damage. 4 runs on 4 hits.
Big imposing guy on the mound, 6'4", 225, 7-1 with a 266.
Yep.
56 hits. How about this? 81 punch-outs, only 13 walks. That's impressive.
Ryan Johnson just keeps.
Welcome back. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our May 6th edition, and real quick, we have to pay a few bills and show a little love as they've shown love to us. Our sponsors, Lindsay and Associates with office location in Fayetteville and office location also too in Rogers. The Baymont Hotel, located at 735 South Shiloh Drive in Fayetteville, and Locomotion. It's located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. And lastly, our newest sponsor, Corey Beck's Custom Painting. But momentarily we made attempts. Unfortunately, Juju will be joining us tomorrow as he was not able to, find time. He had some academics, and we always want to stress that you have to take care of the in-house stuff before you can come over here and talk about the recruiting types of things. But we'll be having Juju on tomorrow for a visit update. But I want to go over to Demetrius, and we had a real quick topic before we went to break, and we talked about the draft, Scooter, but also when you look at the senior group, Demetrius, it brings a topic that I'm really interested in. In my opinion, Arkansas possibly has about 5 to 6 true prospects that'll have draft day opportunities. My 6th, I'm gonna ask for your 6th. You throw in Scooter. You want me to go first? I'm gonna go Scooter Harris. I'm gonna go Devois Whaley. I'm gonna go TJ Smith. I also think that Sosa Agim has a chance to be highly drafted. Cheyenne O'Grady. How many is that? That's 5. And I really, really believe that Colton Jackson, Arkansas's left tackle, will have the opportunity to play at the next level. Come back at me with yours. And I'm not going to even rule out Pluck, because I think Devon McClure could have a chance. Depending. He has 2 more years of eligibility, so I can't put him in that. I guess we have to stick with solely this senior group of guys, and those would probably be the 6 guys that I would have to say would be my first options when the NFL draft rolls around 12 months from now.
Yeah, you pretty much hit them all. I mean, if we had an Alabama squad, I'll be like, well, here goes some other guys you not think about. But I think you hit them all on the head. But I would really definitely have to go for sure draft picks of Sosa again. I believe Scooter can get drafted. You know how I am about Scooter. I think Scooter's a great player. Scooter's a great player. But I know how coaches are, especially with the NFL, with the eye test. And I just feel like size-wise, he can play. He can definitely play in the NFL, but will he sell in the NFL from a draft standpoint? And that's why I always give and take with Scooter. Right. I believe he can play with the best of them. I mean, he had better stats than Devin White when it came to tackles last year. He led the SEC in tackles, and that speaks to itself.
Right.
But I just think on the NFL level, scouts are gonna kind of bat their eye like, I don't know if we want to do a draft pick on him versus us acquiring him as a free agent. And that's just me talking business. I'm not saying he's not one of the best players on Arkansas's team. I'm not saying he's not NFL quality. I just think from a organizational standpoint, and me using the draft pick, I think coaches are he's gonna have to have a better year than last year. Right. I put it like that. He's gonna have to have an exceptional year, and he's probably gonna have to be the SEC player of the year on the defensive side to really get the type of draft pick that he expects.
So I think Scooter's a third, fourth round draft choice, but I also think I think we named those 6, but there could be some sleepers. It all depends on how Arkansas' season goes. You can't go 2-10, 0-8 again because even those numbers might dwindle from 6 to. You had 3 coming from this year, so I think it's all directed to how many you win. That's how many you get drafted or get the opportunity to get looked at. So a lot of that's going to have to play a big factor. It's just we're playing devil's advocate. These are the 6 young men that Demetrius and myself feel that if the draft happened today, these would be the 6 guys that NFL scouts and GMs would be talking about when it came time to spend that money. Because as Demetrius and I agree, it's a business. NFL guys recruit and organizations recruit on needs and not wants. Exactly. And Arkansas has a lot of young men that, if the season goes well, will have the opportunity to further their careers at the next level. Because those, they recruit at a decent level, from the 15 classes on, but they just weren't generating enough wins. But we're just gonna sit back and watch and see what this this program's able to do under Coach Mo heading into year 2. But that's going to wrap it up. I want to give a thank you to Arkansas former Razorback running back Cody Walker for coming on and letting us know just what's going on in his world. Or I should say running backs coach Cody Walker of Rockbridge High School. And also to my producer, Demetrius Johnson, Demigod, better known as the home guy here on OTH. And lastly, our sponsors, Lindsay & Associates with an office location in Rogers, an office location also too in Fayetteville. The Baymont Hotel, located at 735 South Shiloh Drive. Locomotion, just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall, and our newest sponsor, Corey Beck's Custom Painting. That'll do it for our Monday edition, and we look forward to seeing you here same time, same place on OTH. It's on the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one. Holla.